Hello friends, how are you today? Well, today I've got an exciting explanation about energies in the chart for you and how it relates to our human energy systems and what is different. Because some of the crazy stuff that's going on around us, some of the people that are just kind of coming to our attention as going wild or being recognized or name splashed in the news for unusual circumstances. I want to show you what I think is going on. And it all relates to this amazing blue in the chart, this strange image here, and the repeating vertical wave curtains. I had two amazing insights over the last few days while the chart's been not updating. I'll show you here. I updated the chart to the extent possible. This is from September 7th. I reconstructed it. This is September 8th. And then so far, the 9th, the 10th, and 11th, and now 12th, the chart's been like this, okay? So, but what I wanted to show you is I had two insights. The first is that I think what happened here is that we had these vertical wave patterns that were starting between 9 and 10, right? This whole curtain of energy. And it repeated for 18 days in August. Then after the geomagnetic storms, it went synced back to this pattern, the chart did. And then after more geomagnetic storms and M-class flares, it synced back to this pattern. And then boom, we had this deep blue and strange image and then no data. So I think what has happened, okay, I think what's happened is that, okay, it's two things. First, I think that this deep blue was like a harmonic effect. So when you play the violin, right, you have the regular physical world strings pushing the strings of the violin with your fingers, drawing the bow, and it makes a sound, right? And that's your regular musical notes off of a violin. Well, when you hover the finger over a certain spot on each string, not touching, okay, but literally just hovering the finger over, you get a harmonic. And this is where it's a partly physical effect because the bow is drawing across the physical string. But to make the sound, it's simply a hover of your physical finger over the string. It's like an energy between the finger and the string. And it produces almost a celestial sounding note. It's really incredible. And I think this is what happened. It's like we vibed together as a collective, and then, we reached a harmonic. This, what I called a representation, potentially, of a fifth dimensional state. And I explained that in my last video, Big Blue 5D. That was a great video. There's a lot of stories that are interesting on that video if you want to take a listen to that. Now, here's the thing. Here's my second insight, okay? And this has to do with what is not the same coming to the surface. So our humanity is one race. We're all in physical human bodies. We all have a beating heart. We all have red blood. We have our brain waves between 0 and 40 hertz. We are a species, okay? All of us on the planet. So if we are all vibing together, okay, and I'm going to get woo-woo with you here. If we're all vibing together, and there are those of us who look human but are not human, or our energy field, there's something very different in the field, it's going to rise to the surface because the vibe of our vibrations together for days and days and days, and then being sort of the energy amplified by the sun and then vibing together and amplified and vibing together. What is not the same is going to rise out of the collective and be seen. Okay, so it's like the example when you shake the bowl of rice that I've been talking about. What is not rice? The impurities, if you will, rise to the surface. So right now, right, there are people who are acting so strangely, right? These furious rages or these crazy behaviors. I'm saying that they're rising to the surface for us to view because there's something about them that is different. And in my view, some of these behaviors are caused by something in the energy field that is different from the rest of us, okay? And it's a different energy structure. And also, key people, right, who are in the news, right, or who are in your face or you called to mind over and over again. And I think that that's what this image here is. It's something unusual. It's something very different. It has almost like a queen-like look to it. See, the crown here, the head, the long, stately neck. When I first saw it, I didn't say this exactly, but I linked a video in my series of video links in my first videos on this to a video I did called The Spider Queen. And that's what I saw here. Now, why can I look at it and say, oh, it's this, it's that? We can interpret it with different representations because all the fractals are part of the whole. Okay. And so when you're dealing with energy, you're talking about a wholeness, and we can look at that and say, oh, it's this fractal, it's this fractal. So what's different, right? What's different rises up to be seen because what's different wants to move out of this vibing energy because it's not comfortable. And I'm talking about these repeating patterns that have been on the chart that I addressed in a series of videos that includes the metronome effect video. You see, most of us are vibing in our human energy field, and we're emitting energy just being a living human being. That energy comes, in my view, from the soul and from the human energy field that is generated by the EM fields of the body. But we could imagine that there are other entities, interdimensional, non-physical beings that have slightly different field structures or slightly different orientations that are different from the usual orientation of the human being, which is the energy field, and then there's the soul. So, so what I want to do is show you what can happen, because if this is a human energy field and it's had great trauma, okay, so here I have like big pieces of the field missing, and the sanity of the person or the connection with the soul is just this small, okay, because of whatever has gone on with that person, or they may have been purposely subject to certain traumas for various reasons, for example, mind control. And in that circumstance, if they can hang on to the core of who they are, it's like this little bit here. So we are all vibing together, and we have this structure. Now keep in mind, the Schumann chart is between 0 and 40 hertz. This is our brainwave range as well, coincidentally. Okay, so that's why I use it as a map of human consciousness. So let's say we're all vibing together. So what's going to happen is what is not similar is going to vibe out. So let's say in the example I showed you, if someone has an energy field that is much, much different, okay, let's say it has this different dark structure, essentially, darkness-based structure, then it's going to rise to the surface because what is like vibrates together. So if you are a entity that cannot handle an expanded state of energy, this is going to be extremely uncomfortable, and you will be extremely disturbed that humanity has achieved a 5D state for an extended period of time. Let's say that that's what happened, okay? So what I'm saying is that what is not aligned is going to come into view.